Okay, so let me make one thing clear. This isn't a top or worst to best of the animes of 2013. It's the ones I watched in 2013. I'm going to do this every year, and the thing with this is 2013 was the first year I actually took a look at anime. It's always just been that weird thing to me, and the only ones I actually was aware of were the ones I watched as kids, like Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z. So, I'm older now. I took a look at some other animes, and I ended up watching 7 throughout the year. Well, maybe only some people would count 6, since one of them is American, but I'll get to that later. So, yeah, just gonna go for the 7 animes, worst to best for this list, and just for the record, I like all of the ones I put on this list, just some are better than the others. So, let's start off with number 7, which I do consider the worst, but it was still very good. Trygun. Okay, so my biggest problem with this one, I guess, is, well, 2 things. 1, I thought the ending was pretty predictable, and 2, I've never been a huge fan of the whole Western style, and that's kind of what this show does. And, you know, that's just me. Someone told me I should watch this anime, and it just wasn't for me. I ended up liking the movie more than the actual show, and the movie was standalone. I thought the movie had a great plot, and had pretty decent animation, too, and so did the original show. I like Vash, I like Millie, I like the Priest. I thought all 3 of those characters are badass. Cheryl, maybe the other one, I forget what the other girl's name is. She can be kind of a bitch. I didn't hate her, though. But those 3 are my favorite characters, no questions asked. Meryl. Was it Meryl? I think it was Meryl. Yeah, Meryl and Millie. Well, yeah, this one just, I don't know, it just didn't get me attached as the other ones on this list did. I was trying to get into it, but I ended up watching the show pretty slowly, because I never could get that into it. One of the numbers on this list, and I'll say it once it comes up, I got so into the show, I was able to watch 13 episodes in one night. It was insane. Next up, with number 6, is Soul Eater. Okay, this one was a little bit hard to put so low on the list, because this is the first one I watched. This is technically my first anime. And I loved it so much when I first watched it, but then when I saw the other ones on this list, they were better. This one had a lot of likable characters and a lot of good comedy, but I think it kind of failed in the story arc part, and I think the ending was the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen. Everything else was alright, but the ending, goddamn that stupid fucking ending. Aside from that, I did like the show, and it was funny, and it had some decent story to it, I guess, but I think there were some things that were uninteresting, that got too much attention. I think that there were some characters that were very bad, but yet kept being brought back to life. I hate shows that do that. I fucking hate shows that do that. But this one makes an exception with all the good characters, good comedy, some good storylines, and it was good. It was my first anime. I like it. Next up, number 5, Eden of the East. And now this one started off as like a simple romance kind of thing, but then it turned into something way bigger, and I thought it got really interesting and really good. Yeah, the 11 episodes were great. I loved them. I watched them all in one day. It was a great anime. Do I have a problem with it? Yeah, I do, and that's the movies. The first movie was pretty much just the same thing as the show. It was pretty uninteresting to me, nothing new. And I just don't like the second movie. Honestly, I don't like the way they ended it. Not anything that horrible, not even anything I'm going to mention. Just wasn't crazy for it. But the show was fantastic. I would say to any anime lovers who haven't seen Eden of the East, watch the first 11 episodes, and if you like it enough, I guess watch the movies. It's not like it's a complete disgrace, and it's not like it's out of character, out of place. I just didn't really like it. That's just me, though. But the 11 episodes were fantastic. Like I said, watch the entire show in one day. Whew, next up, number 4. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. That kind of hints at the fact that the original's ahead of this one, since most people should watch the original before Brotherhood. Brotherhood was really good, and the only reason I like the original more is just because I like the story they go with. I think Brotherhood had a lot of better things, too. I think the animation was better. I think they had a better Mustang, a better Winry, a better Hawkeye. I think they had a lot of the other characters were good. I think all the new characters they were pretty cool. I do think it was pretty slow at points, and I do think the ending was really sugar-coated compared to the original. I mean, just extremely sugar-coated, but it was still good. Brotherhood was very fun to watch, and it went off to be one of my favorites. I do like the original more just because when you look at the original Brotherhood, The original tells more of a story about two brothers who have to risk it all and learn. There's a lot of lessons learned, and they go on this big journey together. While Brotherhood focuses more on war, politics, other countries, other cultures, and it just comes down to one big battle that goes on for like 10 to 20 episodes. I don't remember. That final fight goes on forever, but it's still cool. It was really cool. But yeah, Brotherhood, that's good. The story Brotherhood told was very good. I just like the original story more. That's just because that was more of a story for me. But I'm sure Brotherhood works better for other people, more than the original would. But I say, if you're going to watch Fullmetal Alchemist, start off with the original, watch Conqueror of Shambhala, then do Brotherhood. And you could honestly skip Sacred Star of Milos. I do not think that one's too good, but everything else was great. Number 3 is Code Geass, and this one's good. This one's really, really fucking good. It has the most satisfying ending to any of the animes I will be talking about. Like, even the next two I mentioned on this list, I liked more, but this one had a better ending than any of them. In fact, the only reason this one probably isn't number 1 is just because a lot of the characters were actually pretty shitty. Like, I don't like Nanui, I don't like Uzaku, I fucking hate Nina. They had a lot of pretty bad characters and just some dumb things in the show. But for the most part, it was really good, and it had, like, the characters that were good, like C2, Lelouch, Colleen, they were fucking great. And once again, that fucking ending, oh my god, it was good. But Code Geass, really, the only reason I can think of in my head that didn't make it to number 1 on this list is, 1, the characters, and 2, okay, to me, number 1 is kind of unbeatable, and I have yet to see anything that comes close to it, but we'll get to that in a minute. And after I show number 2, you're already going to know what it is. Number 2, and this one is the one that kind of is an American one, but I still kind of count because it follows anime traditions. Avatar: The Last Airbender. I never got into this show when I was a kid, and when I got older, I thought it was just a simple kid show on Nickelodeon, but I was wrong. It was very good and very adult for what it was trying to do, and like still appropriate for kids and still actually made for kids, but also to a point where it could be enjoyed by adults. My friend Stuart, another member of the brigade, told me that like when it was on, there was a lot more teenagers watching than actual kids, and yeah, Avatar was very good. I had a lot of people who told me to watch this one, and that's the only reason I actually decided to check it out, is because of how many people told me, you didn't watch Avatar? Ah, no childhood, you gotta watch it, it's so good. Even if you're not a kid, it's one of those shows that you can be a kid or adult to love, and they were right. Avatar: The Last Airbender was a pretty sweet show. I'm really glad I checked it out. I liked pretty much all of the characters, well, not all of the episodes, but all of the books and all the seasons. There were a few bad episodes here and there, but most of them were very good. It was really good. It was really, really good. And number 1, as you already know based off what I said before, Fullmetal Alchemist, the original show. To me, nothing has been like a good competition with this yet. Not even Avatar, not even Code Geass. This one to me is just so fucking good. It's the only anime on this list that I've actually rewatched, because I found someone to rewatch with, and I could see myself rewatching this again someday. It's just so good. I love the story. I love the characters. People say the comedy in Brotherhood's better, and I disagree because I think they do it way too often, while in this one it's more balanced out, and for that it is better. But I just think this is just such a great show, start to finish. I love the movie too. A lot of people don't like the movie, but it really ties in well with America's actual history, while thrown in the Fullmetal Alchemist world. And I thought it was just that itself was done really well. And once again, I know a lot of people didn't like that, but I adored that. I thought that was great. I know a lot of people hate the ending because Edward and Winry don't get together, but I mean, you got one, you got Brotherhood for that. And 2, you can't sugarcoat everything. When a character dies, if it's done good, it's a very good scene. Like, Maze Hugh's death is one of the best scenes in the show, because of how much we cared when he died, how much it sucked when he died, because that just showed how great of a character he was, and how much we miss him because of it. And just the death scene was done so well, too. Like, that's the way to go out. I mean, it would be a terrible way to go out, actually, but I mean, like, for the viewers, it was a really dramatic and well done scene. And that's the thing I like about Fullmetal Alchemist, the original. Another thing is there's a lot more sacrifice and tragedy in the show, and I find that to be a little bit more realistic than what Brotherhood goes with. And I know it's an anime, it doesn't have to be realistic, but I think to have a good show, a couple of characters need to get killed off, in this case a lot of characters, and you have to have some sacrifice. And the way they ended it was very bittersweet, and I think that's why it was so good, because they didn't sugarcoat it, they didn't baby it, and I just really love Fullmetal Alchemist. And it's been so hard to get into other animes because of this, just because nothing has competed with it yet. After I watched Soul Eater, I got to Fullmetal Alchemist, and I just loved it. I just loved it start to finish. And then there was Code Geass that my brother got me to watch, and that was good too, but it never lived up to this to me. Then there was Brotherhood, and it helped. It was something that I really enjoyed watching because it was the same characters, but still didn't live up to the original to me. You know, there was Trygun, didn't even care for Trygun that much. There was Avatar. Avatar came really close, but wasn't exactly there. And then there was Eden of the East, which was also really good, but just doesn't live up to this one because I've gone on about it long enough. I think it's fantastic, and I don't think I've ever seen a show, not just my favorite anime, just my favorite show in general. I think it is one of the most well-written things to run. I've gone on and on about this long enough. I'm not a big fanboy of a lot of things, but Fullmetal Alchemist is clearly one I am. It's the one thing I can say, yes, I am an extreme fanboy of, and I will go on and on about it up to the point where you're annoyed with me. So that is my best, worst to best of 2013. I did end up watching during, late in the summer. So I'm actually going to be checking out a lot more animes for 2014. Already checking out one called, I apologize if I pronounced this wrong, but it's Gurren Lagann. I don't know, it's about mole people or something like that. I only watched 2 episodes, but so far so good. And it's actually one that Austin recommended to me. Also the guy who recommended me to this one. Thank you, Austin. But yeah, that's what I'm working on watching now. So if there's any animes you guys think I should check out, leave a comment and I'll definitely consider it. I still gotta watch Death Note. I'm told by some people it's one of the best, and by some people it's one of the worst. I don't know. But yeah, Fullmetal Alchemist. Good shit. Thanks for watching, you guys. I will talk to you later.